All right, everyone, I just want to take the time to do a nice walk around with Deric's bike. Give you an idea what we've got in store for the project coming up. We wander over here. As you can see, his brake is really spongy. That's going to be a master cylinder rebuild. I don't know yet if the front brake line is any good. Sometimes when they get older, they will actually expand with the pressure from the hydraulic fluids, so they do wear out. They are a wear item, so that may still need to be replaced. But we're going to start with the master cylinder. It's a relatively cheap rebuild, and it doesn't take very long, so stay tuned for that. We've also got an issue with his clutch. He has sort of a similar issue. We've got the cable maxed out, but it's just not, the actuation length is near zero. It's basically on, full off. And we believe we got that narrowed down to the previous owner improperly installing the throwout bearing into the case over here, which chewed into the aluminum pressure plate and gave him too much clearance. So we're going to replace that, and hopefully that'll fix it. Go from there. What we did earlier this week was we had to handle a rear brake issue. As you can see by this old rotor that came off it, I mean, it's a relatively new rotor, but only about half of it was actually making contact with the pad because it's not a big enough diameter to actually engage all the brake pads. So it was more or less just pivoting the brake pads rather than squeezing them uniformly. So, being on a budget and a time constraint, we're trying to get this thing together for the weekend. We dug through the parts bin and I found a rotor off of a 2007 YZ250F I had laying around. The bolt pattern matched up. The only thing it was just a smidge too big on the diameter, and it was making contact with our slide pin here. So we had to get the flap disc out on the grinder, and we just kind of smoothed it down and over. And well, wouldn't you know, it works pretty good. So we'll see how that goes this weekend. It should really improve Deric's ability to safely navigate the track. Sorry about all the mud and dirt, but here, as you can see, we've got a quite excessive amount of oil that's been coming out of the pipe. So the bike seemed to be running okay, but was just really lacking in the mid-range. It seemed to be bogging out a little bit. As long as it was on the pipe and in the power band, it was fine, but below that, it was a little bit lackluster. I believe we've got a pretty rich condition based on all this nice this goop here. It was fresh packing, so we can't blame it on the previous guy. So we're going to do some carb tuning on that and hopefully get it run nice and crispy for him this weekend, and he won't have any more of that bog problem and be able to really rock it out of the corners. All right, guys, that's about all we have planned for this bike this week. Upcoming, I think we're able to probably get by for this weekend, but we're going to be rebuilding the front forks. The seals were seeping a little bit, and I suspect they were seeping for a while before he got the bike, and they're probably a little low on fluid. They just felt pretty spongy to me. So at very least, we're going to do a good inspection on those fork seals, maybe try to clean them again. We had cleaned them once, and they seemed to seal up pretty well, but they got just a little bit of seepage going on now. But at very least, we're going to check the level, change the fluid. Ideally, in the next few weeks or so, we're going to be doing a full rebuild on those forks. Get new bushings, new seals, oil, etc. So that's another project coming up. All right, guys, that's about all I have for now. Stay safe and have fun out there.